Okay, I got a lot of questions for why I took 6725p right before close. I got in around 350, ended up trimming out of that position around 358, and then by the time 4 p.m. hit, they were going from $35 a contract, which is the original entry, to $500 a contract, which was kind of insane. But let me walk you through the process. So first and foremost, there's two levels between 6713 and 6734. And that level is 6721, and then you have your other level at 6734. Great. So we know at least we have some historical context here. And where I started getting into that position was around here. So at 350, I said, look, I'm going to add 6725 puts at $30 a contract. I ended up averaging into them between $30 to $45. So I had like a $35 average or something like that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We made some money on the 6745 calls, but I was kind of hesitant to add more calls. Primarily the reason for that was we weren't really closing above it until this one impulse candle, but it wasn't big enough for me to entertain that. Otherwise, I would have added more calls. And then I said, okay, well, if we're not closing above this, we're going to go down to the level below at 6721, and that's exactly where we ended up, right? So 6725 for a sub $50 per contract lotto was good enough for me to at least position 10, 20 contracts, whatever it was, right? So that's when I started that position. Ended up trimming out of that around 351. And then these started hitting a crazy amount. Like I wasn't expecting it to go as high as it did. So it went from $30 a contract to $500 a contract. Ended up closing a lot of them around 110, 125, 140, 210. And then the last few I left to either expire in the money or zero, right? So that's the reason I chose that contract. It was between the level that we weren't closing above and the level that I was going to target, which was 6721. And that's exactly where we ended up, right? And I was hoping, we didn't get this, but I was hoping that we would close below this and target 6713. But I do think that was kind of a bit of a stretch here, especially given how much we've moved on the downside today, right? So that was my idea behind that 6725 put. Is really just between the level that we weren't closing above and the level that was right below it. And really just simple as that. That's exactly how I trade. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any other questions, let me know. But it was, in all honesty, a pretty easy trade. Thanks.